we swear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
We're good. We're a little tired.
Can you see my dog?
Yeah. How familiar are you with Desert Bus?
I watched you guys last year, and I bought one of those Sparks McGee bottle cap. I feel like that was that or was that a Hank Green thing?
Doesn't sound familiar. Could have been a Hank Green thing, but it's easy to lose track. We can hardly remember ourselves what happens at Desert Bus.
You know what? I watched Desert Bus last year. Sorry, you know, because I'm going to mention Mikey Face. I'm going to mention Mike Newman because I watched his. I think he was on it last year.
Yep.
And I watched that. Was Will and Ann Will and Ann on it? I don't know.
Will called in. I think Ann wasn't able to be there, but Will called in.
I got Mikey's sword last year.
Yeah. Mikey called in and did a crazy auction.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember that. That was a pretty crazy auction. So anyway, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Our chat actually approves of Desert Butt. They say that's fine. So
okay, good.
So I think a lot of people are familiar with you, of course, but in case they're not, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what makes you awesome?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm primarily an author of books for kids and adults, nonfiction, Star Wars books, and things like that. So I wrote. Here, we'll do a run through because I think I sent you some copies for your auction.
Yes, you did.
Oh, dog's gone. Okay, so I got the Star Wars craft book. I wrote that.
Yep.
And I wrote. I've written a lot of books, but these are the cool ones, the coolest ones. Draw Star Wars Clone Wars, which is a klutz book for kids, and it comes with pens, which I'm very proud of. And then I wrote an anti-bullying book for girls called Girls Against Girls.
Oh yeah. Good book.
Which I actually have to read a lot because I have adult friends that are girls that act like they're still in junior high.
Bonnie, that's been translated into like 7 languages or something like that?
It's funny. It's like translated, and it's funny because the publisher never tells me when it's translated. I just find out through Twitter. Someone will like tweet at me and say, hey, I got your book in French. The cool thing about the Girls Against Girls book is like it usually keeps the same cover, except for the Spanish one. I believe looks like David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust is on the cover, and it's called Girls Gone Bad, which is even like Rob Waters movie all of a sudden. And then my French translation has cows with lipstick on it, like cartoon cows with lipstick. And I don't know if the publisher just hates women or what, but I was like, what message is that sending? So, I don't know. But then the Star Wars craft book's been translated in a lot of languages, and I think they still keep the cover, because, I mean, it's Darth Vader holding lightsaber scissors.
You can't really get cooler than that, no.
It's funny, that's not real. I've had so many kids ask me how they can make the lightsaber glove scissors, and it's just, not yet, kids. The technology is not there. So anyway, I've written a lot of books. I've written some comics for Womanthology, which was a really great Kickstarter project that was basically all the money went to charity. None of us got paid for it, and it was a great way to get girls excited about making comics. So we paired amateur artists and writers with professionals, and I got to write for the first one, which was called Heroic, and the second one, which was called Space. So that was really fun. And then I write for a bunch of places, like I write a column on geek culture for SFX, which is a British magazine, and I just started writing full-time as a blogger for CNET, which is so weird because it's like full circle, because I've worked for so many companies in the tech industry, from AOL to At Home Network and Excite to Winamp or Nullsoft, which they're just getting their plug pulled this, I think, in December by AOL, which is sad. But I wrote for Winamp and all those guys. So it's weird that I'm writing for a tech company again after being at Lucasfilm for 10 years. So I was at Lucasfilm for a really long time. And then, you know, the mouse came and everything changed.
Yeah.
So
but that's okay. To being at a company for 10 years is a really long time. So I'm kind of glad that I get to work from home now and hang out with my dog and sleep in and write till 4 in the morning if I want. And so it's nice.
Sounds like you fit in well around here.
Yeah, and I also make late night crafts. So when I'm procrastinating, as many writers that are probably watching this know, procrastination is an art form. And so a lot of times I will just think of, oh, I'll make a spoon puppet of Beaker.
So
Like
cute.
4 in the morning, and then I'll be like, oh, but he needs his buddy. These are spoons, by the way. I made these out of spoons and felt. Googly eyes.
Like you do.
Like I do. And speaking of googly eyes, another thing people may know me from is something called, a little movement called Vandalize, which I started with Ann Wheaton, who's Will Wheaton's wife. And we just put googly eyes on everything. And we hashtag it Vandalize, like the pun Vandalize, on Twitter. And it just sort of took off. And then Seth Green
He's really into it.
And so he was on Conan O'Brien like a month ago and name dropped us on freaking Conan O'Brien's show. And it's been really fun. So if you want to check it out, just go to vandalize.net and you can submit photos of things that you put googly eyes onto. I personally like to, when I visit people's houses, I put googly eyes on everything in their fridge at like 3 in the morning.
It's worth noting that the hashtag is VANDALEYES.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pun. It is a
Right.
pun, so
There's a cat
pun.
right now.
Yeah, so we put googly eyes on everything. So if Anna and I are at a convention together, that city will be vandalized in one way or another. And then on the video side, I do video shows too. So I did a show for Stan Lee's World of Heroes channel called Geek DIY, where I brought on friends like Will Wheaton and Grant Imahara and Team Unicorn and Clara Kramer from Geek Nation, and obviously she's in Buffy, and a bunch of people to do crafts with me. So it's kind of like a hyperactive, drunk but not drunk Martha Stewart show. And so you can do a search for that on YouTube. And then I do a show with Felicia Day, Veronica Belmont, and Kyla Caseby for Geek and Sundry called Vaginal Fantasy, and it's a romance book club where basically we do Google Hangouts once a month with all 4 of us, and we get drunk and talk about the 2 books we were supposed to read. And
It's really good, actually.
Amazing.
It's really good, right?
We barely talk about the books, and you just talk about like Benedict Cumberbatch for an hour. So it's actually really fun. Though I might be the only one that talks about Benedict. I think Felicia and those guys have other people that they're into. But yeah, we have a lot of fun, and we've been doing it for over a year, and it's been fun to be part of Geek and Sundry. So that, in a nutshell, that was a very long answer, and I feel very vain, but that is me. That is what I do.
I did say to explain why you were awesome. That seems pretty thorough. I don't know if you caught it, but the 2 people in the room who were the most vocal about how awesome the Vaginal Fantasy show are were 2 gentlemen.
You know what's funny? Like, I think we're doing every guy a service by helping them out themselves out of the romance book club closet. Because there are a lot of guys that read romance books, but they're afraid to admit it because, I mean, with Kindle, you can read anything and not get caught, and that's the beauty of Kindle. I personally like to read paper, like actual books. I don't like digital books that well, so as you can see from one of my many bookcases behind me, but I think there's a lot of guys out there that love romance books, and just, you know, especially the ones we read, because we don't read traditional ones. We're not going to read 50 Shades of Grey. We don't read that sort of thing, but we do read romance books that have like dinosaur shapeshifters and werewolves and vampires, not the sparkly kind, but like real vampires. And
Yeah.
and I mean, for my book pick, I picked Cthulhu erotica. So it's not traditional romance by any stretch of the imagination, and you do definitely have to have an imagination to read these books. So.
There's actually a question here. We have a blog post about you on our site, and people can go and put questions up that they want to ask. So chat, if you have questions, feel free to go and add those. There's a question that asks, which of the Vaginal Fantasy books has been your favorite so far?
Okay. It's you know what? Nina Bangs is an author that great name for erotica, by the way. For the band, whatever. I'm not judging. I can't remember. I think it was called like Eternal Desire was the name of the book, and that was the first of many dinosaur shapeshifter books I've read. That romance books. It's an actual genre. I know it's hard to believe, but there's more than one author that write romance books where dinosaurs are either the love interest or they're shape-shifting into dinosaurs. Because I don't know if you remember, but in the 90s, that was a big thing in cartoons where kids would shape-shift into dinosaurs, or they'd have some sort of secret ancient dinosaur transformer power or something. There were like 3 different cartoons that did that. So, I think those people just grew up and wrote erotica, and that. I don't know. Maybe it was slash fiction. I feel like I might have written something like that. I'm sure I wrote some sort of romance.
Smut purveyor.
One of those T-Rex shapeshifters in Princess Leia. I don't know.
Are you seeing your caption, Bonnie? It's
No, she can't.
kind of funny. Your caption right now is a smut purveyor.
If Jabba the Hutt can get some action, T-Rex should be able to. Yeah, so that's probably one of my favorite books just because it was so crazy, and I remember reading it on the bus when I was commuting back and forth to one of my jobs, because after Lucasfilm I went to go work for Revision 3, which is a Discovery Channel company, and they were down by the ballpark in San Francisco, so I had to take like 2 trains to get there every morning and to come home, so that's where I would do all my reading, and like I said, I don't use Kindle, so this book cover had like a dinosaur on it with a dude and like a chick, and it just looked weird. And I remember the craziest, because it's a lot of cray-cray on those trains, and so the craziest person sat next to me. I was like, "Girl, what you reading?" And I'm like explaining it like very seriously that this is a romance book with shapeshifter dinosaurs, and they're hot guys, but they shapeshift into dinosaurs to fight vampires that are trying to kill all the humans. And I didn't even get to kill all the humans before he got up and went to another seat.
That could be really useful.
So if you don't like crazy people sitting next to you, all you have to do is be crazier. So all you have to do is read one of those books. And that's what did it. And every time I would sit down and read some weird book, that was... And then I'm one of those people that laughs out loud when I read something funny, and so I'm sure I just look scary on the bus reading something like that, laughing hysterically. It happens. But yeah, I love that book. There's a lot of good books. So if you go to vaginalfantasy.com, which is our Tumblr, you can see a lot of our videos, but we also, I do a lot of posting of fun books that we're reading on the side and just weird romance books. I will say one of my favorite romance books that's kind of a parody, that's not really a romance book, is a parody of 50 Shades of Grey. It's called 50 Shades of Chicken, and it's a it's an actual cookbook that they made the chicken parts look sexual and bound, and it's sold like in all like regular store. I was in Nebraska visiting family last week, and I saw it like at a regular Barnes and Noble, Books A Million type store. And you know, these are stores that have like whole sections for Christian living, and they had that 50 Shades of Chicken like as an editor, like a employee pick. So it's everywhere. I love it. I love that, like, and oh, by the way, there's also, if you're into Christian living, there is a whole genre of romance books just for, you know, Christians. So, I don't know how kinky it gets, though. I don't.
In the Twilight series?
I don't. Maybe all the guys look like Jesus. I don't know. He's pretty hot. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm so going to hell in this, aren't I? We'll see. I'll get the martinis ready.
We can all go together on the desert bus.
Okay.
So there's also a question about what made you want to start putting googly eyes on things, which I also want to tag a second part onto, which is, have you or Anne ever gotten in trouble for leaving googly eyes on stuff? Because I know you guys do it just everywhere.
Right. Well, the beauty of the googly eyes is we're not gluing it. They're self-adhesive, so it's like it's kind of like a sticker, not even like a sticker. So it's not like sticker tagging where it takes forever to get those stickers off of things. It's craft. It's a craft supply, so it's for kids.
It won't damage things.
You know, nobody wants a craft supply that's permanent, or else moms everywhere would sue. So and dads. So it's these it's called self-adhesive googly eyes. You can get them at Archie McPhee, who made the special tin for me, because I was giving out these self-adhesive googly eyes in little little dime bags to kids, and so at a distance, it kind of looked like I was the neighborhood crack dealer, but I wasn't. It was all just craft supplies. But I asked, I'm friends with people at Archie McPhee, and I'm like, can you guys just make it like a metal tin that looks like an eyeball or something, just something a little nicer? And they made, I don't think I have one on me, but they made one that just has a bunch of eyes on it, and it's just called an emergency googly eye tin, and they sell them everywhere now. And of course they sell giant googly eyes and
those are awesome.
And things like that, glow in the dark googly eyes. So but at the time when I first got and I got Anne addicted to it, so I guess I am kind of a drug pusher. She and I were doing it so much that I think Archie McPhee's Googly Eyes stock went up, and they made all this stuff to kind of feed our addiction, and it just took off. So I just did it as a little kid. I know Anne did it as a little kid. We just didn't have a name for it. And Anne came up with the pun name because she's like the queen of puns. And it just kind of became its own thing. And now it's like all over the place. It's like on Reddit. And a lot of people are claiming they're the ones that came up with it. And I mean, we came up with Vandalize, but we didn't invent Googly Eyes. So that's been around forever. And any kid that's ever been around craft supplies and Googly Eyes put it on things they shouldn't have. Like, I put it on lights, like light outlets and switches. I put it on all my alcohol, so I never drink alone.
Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like, a lot of those like alcohol labels actually look like smiles, so it works out great. I mean, I realize it's now a cry for help, but it works out.
No, it's a cry for companionship, and you found that.
I mean, as far as getting caught, I almost got caught once because I when the giant self-adhesive Googly Eyes first came out, I'm like, oh, I'm totally gonna put this on buses and planes and things. And I put them on city buses because I have quite a few that go by my house. And, you know, you can put them right behind a bus on the back part and no one's paying. I mean, San Francisco, no one's shocked by anything. So it's not like there's a whole patrol out there looking for Googly Eyes. And I put it on the trains too, and no one notices for like a full day, and then it's gone. But I did try to almost put it on a plane when I was headed to Comic-Con, not this year, but last year. And here's the thing. You can't really sneakily put a giant Googly Eye on the outside of a plane without someone thinking you could be a terrorist. So I kind of, you know, when you get right at the entrance where you're about to board the plane and everyone's like frantically tweeting before they have to sit and all that, I had this Googly Eye just ready. Like, it was like the sticker was off, and I was like, it's on my hand. I'm ready to like transfer it. So I'm like, right as I get on the plane, I'm slowly trying to, and I'm about to hit with the Googly Eye, and I hear all these like gasps behind me. Like these little old ladies going, thinking I was gonna blow up the plane. I'm like, oh crap, I can't do it because I got too many snitches behind me, and also I don't want to end up at Guantanamo for Googly Eyes. That's you know what I mean? Like,
my plane for that's what I meant.
When the revolution happens, that's what I want to go down for. So
you know,
I kind of just put it under my feet. Yeah, so it's still on the plane. It's just, you know, it was behind someone's seat, and my plane person that was sitting next to me thought it was hilarious. And the air hostess, what do they call them now? Are they air hostesses? Sure. Are they Scott Angels? What do we call?
Flight attendant.
Flight attendants, because it's going to be called stewards or stewardesses, because that's too nautical, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, the flight attendant wasn't too amused, but she did trade me for a drink ticket.
Ooh.
So thank you, Virgin America, for being pretty hip about my and so that was awesome. But I've never really gotten caught. And when Ann and I are together and we're putting Googly Eyes on like bus stop posters and billboard type things that are close to the ground, we keep an eye out for each other. So when we were at Kamikaze in LA a couple of months ago, we were going to dinner with some friends, and we saw, I think it was Christian Bale's new movie where he kind of looks like a 70s sleazeball, and he would like had his own bus stop, like, you know, sign or whatever. And Ann's like, oh, that's perfect, but we're too short. So we got Colin Ferguson from Eureka to do it. So if we get caught, he's going to jail, not us.
I love it. Steve says he'll put one on his plane for you. So
I'm gonna put a pair of giant
Googly. Have your own plane. I highly recommend it. I've seen it on houses. I don't put it on my front door just because I don't want everyone to know where I live, just in case they're driving by, and it would be pretty obvious. As much as I love my fans, I don't want them ringing my doorbell because I'm still a little bit of a J.D. Salinger about that. So, but yeah, you should definitely try it out. For first timers, I highly recommend when you stay at someone's house, bring a tin of Googly Eyes and put them on every bottle and condiment inside their refrigerator, and don't tell them.
I love it.
Yeah.
We have a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
First, there's something that we've been collecting from all of our call-ins. There's a bit of a Desert Bus tradition where some years people will donate a certain amount of money for us to collect, like $5 per fact we collect from someone was one a couple years ago. So this year, somebody's donating $7 for each superhero that we can collect from anyone that we talk to.
Okay.
And this is not a real superhero that exists yet. This is a superhero who you make up, who either you'd like to be or you just think it would be fun to have them exist, and we want a name of the superhero and their power.
Okay. I always think of good villain things, but I never think of good superhero things.
Villain earlier. You could do one of those if you'd rather.
Yeah.
So I collect.
Losing your audio.
That. So I think if I was a superhero, I'd rather be like a necromancer that can make anything come back to life. See, this is a villain thing though, because now I'm thinking I would have my own like squirrel army.
It's okay. If you have a super villain, we did get one of those earlier. We could allow a super villain instead.
See, that's the problem, is that villains are so much more fun to create than superheroes. Because I've always had a problem with a lot of superheroes because I think they're a little too smug. And, I'm not a big fan of Superman. I know, even though I was, raised in Kansas and I should have some sort of connection with him, I just don't. I always think he's kind of thinks he is above us. And most of the superheroes are either really rich or they're just warped, or both. So it's hard to connect with them. Though I do like Spider-Man. But man, Spider-Man's made some bad dating choices, so I don't know if I can support him. I feel like if I was gonna have a superpower, I'd be like Super Snooze. Because I have so many college kids that live in my neighborhood that are super loud, and so when they walk by at 2 a.m., they're doing that drunk, I can't find my car thing really loud. And I always thought, wouldn't it be great if I had the superpower to make anyone fall asleep instantly? Oh. Which hopefully I'm not doing that right now.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Whereas you can put them to sleep instantly. They'll probably get the best night of sleep of their life, which a lot of us would love. Mm-hmm. And they'll shut up. So if anything, and I don't even have to have a cool sword or anything. I just do the Force lightning thing in Star Wars and just put them to sleep.
All right, and we're calling this.
Face in their face. Is that a Sandman thing? I feel like I'm stealing Sandman from DC now.
Everyone steals everything. Man.
Yeah, exactly. It's called being inspired. You're fine.
Green Arrow, it's all just the same stuff.
That's Blind See again. But would they have googly eyes and still regular eyes? See, that's a villain thing. I'm a horrible person. I can't think of anything that's a happy, even necromancers are probably pretty freaky, huh? I always think of the one in Venture Brothers, because he's one of my favorite characters because he sounds like a cross between Jeremy Brett from the old Sherlock Holmes and Christopher Lee, and he's just amazing. And I would like the idea of bringing back all your pets to life. Yeah. But if I Pet Cemetery, that could go bad pretty quickly too. So I don't know. We'll
do the sleepy one for now. I think that seems good. We're calling him Super Snooze.
Super Snooze.
All right. I like it. It seems very utilitarian as well. You can do good things with that.
I've noticed the older that I get, the more I want people to just shut up at 2 a.m. So
that's fair.
Yeah. Lady that lives on the corner that tells kids to turn down their music and get off my lawn.
So our last thing is, of course, you sent us some wonderful items for Desert Bus. We showed them off earlier. We had the craft book, your drawing book.
Some of the things from that book?
Pardon me?
Do you want to see some of the things you can make from that book, like Admiral
Sackbar?
Yeah.
Every single convention since I bought him. Or not bought him, sorry, made him. So he's gone with me to Comic-Con, and I don't even remember how many conventions. So this puppet's drinks with the celebrities. All the Game of Thrones actors really loved him. I'm just saying. Look how he's touching my chin. He's like a little puppet flirt.
And the book that we have can teach you guys how to make your own. So yeah, you sent us the craft book.
We also make the Chewbacca birdhouse. So that's the Chewbacca birdhouse of a milk carton, and then Chewbacca tissue box cozy. And then this is also a fan favorite, is the Chewbacca sock puppet.
He's so cute.
And washcloth wampa.
Oh.
So there's a lot of things you can make from that book, and you don't have to be super skilled. Like, it's all kid, any age range can make most of the stuff in the book. So
that's perfect. So we have the craft book, we have the drawing book as well. We have some Star Wars playing cards, and the Star Wars: The Clone Wars Planets in Peril early readers book that you wrote. And there's also this Return of the Jedi. This looks like actual vintage, I think. Return of the Jedi glass do-it-yourself kit.
Yeah. So remember those stained glass kits from like the 80s that you could make stuff from? That's that era. I'm working at Lucasfilm for so long. They had so much stuff just collecting dust, and they weren't, it was mostly giveaways for kids at conventions. I think they just forgot about it. And I grabbed a handful of those when I first started, thinking, oh, I'll make some of these. I just never did. So that's one of them. And then the playing cards that you've got were given to Lucasfilm employees. So those might be pretty rare as well. So you get a couple of rare Lucasfilm type stuff in there too.
Awesome. And I believe the books are also signed by you. So yeah. Really cool prize pack.
Cool.
What we were going to do is we've been doing donation drives where we give everybody a chance to win. And so everyone donates a certain amount for like half an hour to an hour, and then we draw a winner. So we were wondering if you had a favorite random number, kind of we're looking for something in the sort of $5 to $10 range, just a random number.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty superstitious, so a 5 to 10 range, you mean?
Yeah.
So I like the number 4, even though that's unlucky in Chinese superstition, but I'm gonna go 4.
Okay. Let's go, just so we make sure that it's special, like people won't win it randomly. Let's go 444.
Yeah, it works.
Cents. All right. So that means that our audience can donate $4.44, and then we'll do a draw for someone to win this amazing Bonnie Burton pack with all these vintage crafts, and how to do your own crafts, and some books.
You already have some.
Back, Ash and I did a Mega Cynics featuring Bonnie Burton.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll throw a big print, a signed print of that in as well.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. And we'll run that, let's run that until 7:30. So.
She's still there?
Yeah, I think this sounds.
Tech difficulties?
And forth real quick, so it's a little tricky for them. Sorry.
It's a Skype problem. It's when both sides of the conversation are talking at the same time. One side gets muted.
Yeah, so our tech is trying to deal with that. You were gonna say something though?
Oh no, I mean, I'm on Twitter a lot too, so my Twitter handle is Bonnie Girl, which is Bonnie GRRL. So people that whoever gets the prize pack, if they want to tweet at me, and if they want their book signed with their names in it, I can send them stickers with like more personalized signatures.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much. And guys, I really recommend to all of our viewers that you go check out Bonnie's projects. Like she said at the beginning, she's got a ton of them, a ton of really cool creative projects. So go look for her all over the interwebs. And Mr. Sackbar, he's so cute. Go make your own sack. Calling in, Bonnie.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was Bonnie Burton, and you have an hour to donate $4.44 to win her awesome prize pack.